live, well, not actually live streaming, but I'm interviewing one of my server members. His name
it's me, guys.
JupiterCoyote. Yes, the name of a planet and an animal. How creative.
The name of a band, technically, but
yes.
Yeah, whatever.
Is that where you got the inspiration for your name?
My dad actually got the inspiration from the band, and then I got the name from my dad.
Okay, yeah. And I think, what's your profile picture at the moment? Because you do change it a lot.
I do change it a lot. Right now it's Dingy, from Chainsaw Man.
Right.
I would recommend, anybody watching this, I would recommend you watch Chainsaw Man, MK yourself. I would not recommend you watch it.
I've already seen the classification of it on IMDb. It's like MA or R. It's high.
Yeah, it's a great show. It's a great show,
violent,
great characters.
Very violent. So no, I'm not going to watch
and sexual,
it.
Yeah.
I mean,
ignore that word, guys.
I even saw the classification for Cells at Work, which is like a anime version
That's
of your
great.
body's
It's
immune
great.
system. Yeah, I like that.
It's good.
I like the concept of it because it's your immune system personified into like these people. But again, it's too violent. It's MA. Again, that's too high for me to watch. M is as high as I'll go. Funnily enough, I don't actually own any M-rated video games. The highest rated video games I own is PG. But for movies...
Oh, I got a bunch of M-rated video games. I can't even legally buy them.
Wait, you can't legally buy them?
No, so here in America, you have to be 17 to buy an M-rated game.
That would be MA here then, because if in Australia M is teen. So I don't have any I don't have any games that would be rated T for teen, because T for teen is the same as M. M in the US is MA in Australia. It's the second highest classification.
Right. So, just before I was talking to you here, I was playing God of War. That's the new one. It's great.
Like, here's an example: Splatoon 3, because Splatoon 3 and Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, because they've got violence in them, they're PG. So I've got it, and of course it shows PG. But obviously on your copy, it's E10, Plight. It's E10 and up.
It's E10.
Yes, exactly. So E10's like PG. It's not for like really young children, but it's like children with parental guidance recommended. Because like there's some violence. Well, it's PG's parental guidance, but it's like children that are slightly older than like really young children. Because it's 10 and up means 10 years old and up. So double digits.
Right. Yeah.
They have to be at least 10 double digits. If they're like 6 or 5.
Well, you don't have to be 10, but that's just kind of recommended.
Yeah, it's recommended. That's what PG is. PG, M, and G are advisory classifications. MA and R are restricted, which means MA, you have to be 15 and up, legally restricted. R is have to be 18 and up. I imagine that the higher classifications are legally restricted too.
Yeah, like when I went into like a GameStop to buy
GameStop,
like Watch Dogs 2, I couldn't buy that, but like my grandma she was also in the my entire family was there.
Yeah.
And so I just went and found my grandma, and she with her supervision I could buy it, but and birthday's in like 2 months. Less than 2 months, I'll be able to buy it then by myself.
Yeah, I haven't been to GameStop, but in Australia we have EB Games, which is the same thing. The EB stands Electronics Boutique, if you're wondering. So it does stand. In fact, our mascot's this really cute rabbit. It's quite funny, really. I think Canada also has EB Games. It's really every Commonwealth country. Although I think the UK doesn't have EB Games. They've got their own game store. I do like buying video games. I actually prefer to buy them physically than digitally, because EB Games actually has this membership thing where every game you get gives you points called carrots, and if you get enough carrots, you can level up. I'm level 3 at the moment, and at level 4 you get they actually added level 5 recently. Basically you get more perks, like you get a discount, you get a coupon on your birthday, you get discounts. Does GameStop have a membership thing?
Yeah, but I don't go to GameStop often enough to do it. It was just like, the game came out that day. I wanted to get it that day, so I went in.
Also, the other thing I love about EBN is they're willing to price match. Like, I found, some games in Big W for, $10 less than the eShop. And EB Games was pricing them the same as the eShop. And I said to them, look, Big W has them $10 cheaper. Can you match that? And they agreed to do that. So I saved $10. So they price match. I would hope GameStop also price matches. If there's a store that sells them cheaper, I don't know, big Walmart probably sells video games. If they sell them cheaper than GameStop, would GameStop price match that?
Searching that up. GameStop, they will only price match for Amazon, Target, Walmart, and Best Buy. Okay. So no mom and pop stores game publishers, but
the thing is, Walmart and Target, they're like Big W. Well, actually, we do have Target. We do have Target in Australia. We also have Big W, which I don't think you have.
We don't have that.
Yeah, so Target we do have. We've got Target. We've got Big W. We do have We don't have Walmart, obviously. I did actually. That's where I bought my Super Mario cereal from. It wasn't the Super Mario Odyssey edition that Failboat used. It was the regular Super Mario, but I still enjoyed eating it. I mean, I made a video where I ate it. Let's see. I had to order it online from Walmart. Then I had to have it delivered to my sister's address in California because she was studying at the University of Santa Barbara. University of California, Santa Barbara. So I forgot that sounds old. Because I've been to, I would say I've probably been to California the most out of all the other states because it's quite nice, especially Santa Barbara. The beaches were lovely. And also because it was like, I think it was the middle of summer. It's really quiet, there's no one around because I think it was like, I imagine the students and most people living in town were like away for the vacation. They'd probably gone interstate. I imagine that's what people do when they're going on holiday. They go interstate to visit somewhere else that is not their own state. Because the thing is, one thing I like about the US is it's because it's so big, there's a lot to do. Like if you want to go interstate, you've got like 50 states to choose from. Obviously Hawaii and Alaska are a bit harder because they're not attached to the land, but you've got lots of choice. Well, that being said, because of the huge size of the country, it does mean that getting from one side of the country to the other can take a long time. Like if I wanted to drive to Perth, it would take several days, so I'd probably fly. And if someone wanted to drive from New York to San Francisco or Los Angeles, that again would probably take even longer because the US is longer.
It would take about the same amount of time, I think.
Okay, yeah, but don't forget, you wouldn't be able to drive non-stop. You'd have to stop whenever night falls. You couldn't drive through the night because it wouldn't be safe. Although that being said, I do think that the laws on self-driving cars are different in the US. I think you're allowed to engage the autopilot in Teslas. In Australia, I think the law is a bit less clear about whether you're allowed to.
Not enough people have a Tesla to like really, actually count that in or to factor it in.
I mean, it sounds very convenient because I know they've built like this road that's like a tunnel and it's for Teslas only.
It broke, cool. Which is really. I saw that. I was really funny.
Oh,
I'll be honest.
Okay, that's unfortunate.
It got a traffic jam, which is so funny.
Yeah, I suppose that is a little bit unfortunate. I would say my favorite place I went to was Hawaii. That was lovely. I'd love to go back there. I stayed at the Waikoloa Resort. I think it's run by Hilton as well, which is not surprising. Like that place was amazing. It's because it's a resort. It's like a hotel on steroids. You got a pool. It's like an entire. Almost like its own city or town. The resort's so big. It covers this huge area. Because I've also been to Vanuatu, but Vanuatu doesn't come close to Hawaii. Hawaii is so much fancier than Vanuatu. I'm going to go back to Hawaii. Right. We were going to actually fly over the volcano, but the wind was too strong, so they had to cancel it. So, unfortunately, we did walk across the volcano though. The dried out lava, because it's technically also called lava, but of course the one we were walking across was solid rock. It wasn't molten. In fact, I think, I remember now. My poor sister, she tripped and she grazed her leg on the sharp rocks that we were walking on. Oh. Yeah, I remember she hurt herself really bad because the rocks are hard and they're also very sharp. So yeah, she got really badly hurt. But other than that, we didn't really have any other issues. I mean, the problem is I don't remember much about it because it was so long ago. I don't even remember if I took photos. I took photos in Vanuatu, but not Hawaii. Oh, I should have taken photos. We'll have to go there. Yeah, I mean, I think my goal is at some point. I mean, I'm going to Japan this year, hopefully. But but I'm also going to probably maybe visit every state in the US. Maybe. Again, I'm not sure.
I don't know if you'll be able to do that. That one's very hard.
Yes,
that's very hard to do.
It would take a long time, but I've also got to keep my wits about me and just check check that I'm always safe. Because I think my mother actually said, it's fine if you're in the city and don't wander around the city at night, and try and be with another person. Don't wander around alone. Don't wander around alone at night. That's a recipe for disaster. I think
it's like that anywhere.
Yeah, I suppose that's true. Although Sydney's not that bad. Sydney's not a paradise by any means. I mean, with Sydney, it depends on the area. Like it's pretty safe to walk around Sydney at night by yourself. You're getting a bit too close in politics territory. Let's back off a little bit from politics.
Yes.
All right. Sorry, I digress. Yeah, you're right. I should probably.
Yeah. Okay. So I got a question for you. Mm-hmm. What is your favorite piece of fiction and why?
Do you mean like a book or a movie?
Literally anything. It could be a book, movie, TV show. What is your favorite?
I mean, I love Slugterra.
Like, in terms of story.
I think Slugterra. I mean, I really think Slugterra is my favorite piece of fiction. Because the thing is, I know it sounds silly, And
Yeah,
there were two YouTubers who actually made videos about Slugterra. Like the first one was like, "What happened to Slugterra?" The other guy was like,
I saw
"Remember
that one.
Slugterra?" There's another YouTuber said like, "Oh, you saw them both?"
I saw the like what happens to Slugterra.
Yeah, there's also one that said
Slugterra,
one that said "Remember Slugterra" as well. The point is, it sounds like such a silly concept, shooting slugs out of a gun. But the thing is, the plot of each episode kind of it flows perfectly. And what I like about it too is, unlike Adventure Time, it's not disjointed. Each episode seems to continue the last one, because in the latest seasons, there's
sort of story.
In the latest seasons of the episodes, there is a sense of continuity, because in Endangered Species, Eli catches an enigma. And then, of course, in the later episodes, you see that. And, of course, the same goes for... so basically, I think another one was in What Lies Beneath. His boondock becomes a guardian. And, of course, in the last episode, episode 39 of the TV series Light as Day, Pronto brings back Doc from the Guardians because he needs him to purify the Terra Portal drill so the Darkbane... So, basically... In the last episode, Dr. Black's trying to summon the Darkbane from the deep caverns to help them out, because the Darkbane are like demons. They're evil. The deep caverns are so full of dark water and dark energy that slugs cannot transform there unless they are ghouls. In fact, Eli coined that term. When Dr. Black first showed him a slug that was corrupted by dark water, he was like, "You've made him some kind of ghoul." And Dr. Black was like, "I like that name." Because the thing about the ghouls is that they are more powerful, but they're also more disobedient, and they are also, because they've been corrupted by dark energy, they are also more dangerous. So they're more powerful, they're disobedient, but they're also more dangerous. Like, a regular slug could probably injure you. Now, a ghoul could probably kill you. The only non-ghoul that seems to be dangerous was a lava lynx, where this guy who was trying to find the surface, which in Slugterra, the surface, which is where Eli's from, or some Slugterrans call the burning world because it calls the sun, it's supposed to be a secret. Like, anyone who knows of it assumes it's like a myth or a legend that's not real. And the thing, Eli has to keep it that way. No one's allowed to know that it's a real place, because the two worlds have to stay apart. Because Gar Ravel's trying to discover this burning world, but Eli has to stop him, because he's like, this is a secret for a reason. Of course, Gar Ravel's annoyed because he's trying to stop him. So in the end, there's a book containing all the information that will help him get to the surface, which of course belonged to Eli's uncle, I think. So Eli, he doesn't want to do it, but in order to stop Gar Ravel, he has to destroy this book. And as soon as he does it, Gar Ravel, he's like, no. And of course, all his supporters who came along to find this burning world abandoned him by that point. They're like, "You're a scam. We're not gonna," because they lead an attack on Eli's hideout, which has got like its own defense system, turrets and everything. So yeah, it's an interesting story. I don't like how it's gone in the current direction though, because there are a lot of unanswered questions. Because in the first episode, it's got Willshane, his father, who encounters a ghoul, and Dr. Black shoots at him, creates a vortex, and Willshane gets sucked into presumably the deep caverns. Of course, he fires at Burpee to let Eli know that he's fallen in battle. He hasn't died, but it says, if you're reading this, it means I've fallen protecting Slugterra. So it's not implied whether he died or not, but of course it's now Eli's responsibility. But of course, as he says in the letter, remember our deal. Not until you're 15. So obviously when he first gets the letter, he's not 15 yet. But the crazy thing is, in the last episode of Into the Shadows, which is like the last major series, because Ascension is kind of a spin-off, in the last episode of Into the Shadows, Ghouls and Monsters, Eli turns 16. So what that means is all of his adventures up to that point took place within a single year. All of those adventures only took a year. From episode 1, The World Beneath Our Feet, to Into the Shadows. Like, and if you look at how many episodes there were, 39 episodes, 5 movies. Like, he's been through so much, and that doesn't take long at all.
The last 500 episodes of One Piece have taken place in less than a month.
Okay, well that's actually pretty impressive. I mean, it means a lot more fast-paced.
And there's I think 8 movies.
So it's
very slow-paced. It's very slow-paced.
Were you saying it's, 500 episodes?
It's over 1,000 episodes
and
total, but there's a time skip of 2 years.
Yes, that's impressive, because I still find it odd that at that point, because Will Shane appears as a hologram. He's like, I want to tell you something. He's like, you turned 16. He's like, I was like, I forgot my own birthday. Because I think one of my favorite characters had to be Junjay, because Junjay is from the Eastern Caverns. Because it's implied that the 99 caverns are their own separate thing, and that they're under like probably North America, and the Eastern caverns are underneath Asia. Because Junjay's ancestor Yang was actually from China, and so was the Emperor. The Emperor was this cruel, oppressive man who wanted to find the elixir of life. And of course Yang fought him and battled him, and he defeated the Emperor. Then the Emperor fell into like this pit, and he fell into the dark water, which it granted immortality to him as he wanted, but it corrupted him. So that any humanity he once had was gone. He was just a cruel, cold-hearted killing machine now. He even had the energy to summon these stone warriors, which I guess are based off terracotta warriors. In a sense, he's probably more powerful than Dr. Black. Because the Emperor and Dr. Black have never met. But if they did meet, they'd probably be unstoppable. Because the Emperor, he's also a lot more... I can't describe it. He's evil in a very sinister way. In fact, both Dr. Black and him are. Because... here's an example of how they're evil in a sinister way. In a lot of cases, when Dr. Black...
Most people are evil in an evil
when Eli first fought Dr. Black, his right-hand man, Nacho, was like, because he burpee created a firewall so they couldn't get through. So Nacho was like, back around the other side, because he wanted to chase Eli. And Dr. Black was like, no, let him go. He got the message. Eli Shane won't be returning here anytime soon. So Dr. Black was like, why do we need to bother chasing after him? He got the message. We've scared him now. We don't need to pursue him. Like, Dr. Black knew what he's doing. He's like, there's no point in pursuing Eli Shane. We've scared him, and we've scared him already. We don't need to pursue him. He's got the message. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's one of those villains that's he's very calculating. Every one of his moves is calculated. He knows exactly...
Sounds like Doflamingo.
Yeah.
You don't know who Doflamingo is?
No, I don't. If you watch Slugterra at all?
I watched it when I was like in 1st or 2nd grade.
Yeah. Which episodes did you watch?
I don't remember. I was in 1st or 2nd grade.
Because I know like the plot of every single episode.
I know the plot of all 1,000 episodes of One Piece.
Yeah, and the thing about Slugterra is that it's a Canadian show.
One Piece queers.
So you can thank its existence for your neighbours up north, the Canadians. You can thank them for the existence of Slugterra.
I can thank probably all my 5 favorite shows. I can thank Japan for those.
Oh yeah, yeah, that's true. Well, the thing is, not a lot of people know this, but the company that created Luigi's Mansion 2 and Luigi's Mansion 3, Next Level Games, is actually a Canadian company. Like, they were using Nintendo's assets, but they were the game developer. They did all the hard work in creating the game. Nintendo was just there to offer them like artistic guidance, but they created the game. They did all the hard work. Like Game Freak makes Pokemon.
Okay.
Next Level Games made Luigi's Mansion 2 and 3. The first Luigi's Mansion was actually Nintendo themselves. But obviously they wanted to have a different company do it.
So, you know how you're talking about how, like, the normal slugs could, like, probably injure and, like, the demon or the ghoul or whatever slugs could, like, probably kill?
Yes, ghouls could kill, definitely, without a doubt.
Okay, so, I'm going to send you a picture right now. This is the character I'm talking about. Go ahead, in post-processing or whatever, go ahead and put him up on screen for a second.
Is he smoking?
Okay, this is Sanji from One Piece.
Is he smoking?
Right? He is smoking. Yes, don't even question it.
I was going to say, it's unhealthy to smoke, but it's...
It does not matter. What he's doing when he fights is way more unhealthy. Okay, so who do you think would win in a fight, EY or Sanji? This guy right here, right? I want you to go ahead and list out EY's best feats, his best, like, most powerful things he does. I'll list out Sanji's up to the current point, and I'll make sure to, like, to put a little spoiler,
do you want me to type them out?
And... Huh?
Do you want me to type them out?
No, just go ahead and list them out. Just go ahead and list them out.
Okay, well, Eli knows Slug Fu, which means he can move his slug to home in on enemies.
Does it, like, kind of stop after a certain point of time? Does, like, if they dodge enough, will it stop? Or would they dodge, like, for long enough or whatever? No, I'm pretty sure with Slug Fu he's able... Well, he doesn't use Slug Fu all the time. That's the thing. Every time he uses it, he's able to hit... Well, he doesn't... He normally hits the enemy slugs rather than the actual person, because of course usually he's being fired on. But yeah, he can use Slug Fu, but I have noticed in the series he doesn't use it all the time. I mean, obviously he didn't use it until very late because Junja had to teach him how to use Slug Fu. But the point is, even after learning, he doesn't use it all the time. So he knows Slug Fu, which is very good skill to have.
because the slugs.
Does that make his slugs any more powerful, or does it just make them hit more often?
Yes, it makes them hit more often because normally when you fire a slug, it goes in a straight line. It gets shot. It gets shot in whatever direction you're aiming. So if an opponent dodges, then of course they won't get hit. Unless the slug has like an area of effect thing, like fire or water or slime. In that case, it's hard to dodge. It depends on what the slug shoots at.
So besides just like being able to hit his targets a bit more often, where are his like some of his most powerful attributes?
Well, the thing is, Eli Shane very rarely fights alone. He has his Shane gang to help him out. Now Junjay.
Well, okay, let's put the entire Shane gang against Sanji. Fair. This guy right here.
Well, the thing is, Junjay doesn't count in the Shane gang because he's not a member anymore.
Let's put him too. But
Junjay's not in the Shane gang anymore.
Who cares? Put him too. Give them all ghoul slugs. I don't care.
No, Junjay's not. No, Junjay's a good guy. He doesn't use ghouls. He's a good guy.
We're doing like kind of morals off here. We're like, they just go all out.
I mean, Eli did use ghouls in the deep caverns, but that was because he had no other choice. Like the regular slugs would not transform. And when he came out of the portal, the Shadow Clan was very disappointed. It's like corrupting the essence of these slugs. What were you thinking? Almost unforgivable. And Eli was like, it was their idea, plus we couldn't use them unghouled in the deep caverns, so didn't have a choice. And of course, Eli, when he came back to the other side of Slug Terror, where the dark deep caverns are not there, when he came back to the other side, he turned the ghouls back into normal slugs. So he didn't leave them as ghouls. He had Doc heal them.
So when you say ghouls could probably kill, do you mean that like if a ghoul hits, let's just talk about a normal human being? Right?
Well, it depends also.
Nothing is different about them.
It depends if it's a megamorph ghoul as well, because a regular ghoul can do.
Okay, let's make them all megamorphs. Yeah,
I'm like asking. Megamorph ghouls are deadly. Yes, they are.
They're all megamorph ghouls, right?
Yeah, those are deadly.
They hit a normal person, right? Mm-hmm. Like your average Joe on the street. If it hits him, will he die because it is so powerful, or will he die because it has like a special effect?
Well, each ghoul's effect does depend on the original slug that's based on. So, like, if it's
is there an effect that instantly kills?
That's actually, I think there is. The Dr. Black actually kills the unbeatable master Shinai with a Goondock, a Ghoul Boondock. Because a Boondock heals, but a Goondock harms. And that one wasn't even a Megamorph, so I think the Goondock can actually kill. I think it can kill, yeah.
Okay, but that doesn't tell us if it has like death powers or if it's just really strong.
I can show you the wiki. I can look at the wiki and tell you like what its abilities are. Like I can find out.
They aren't beating Sanji still. And I'll get to his feats in a second because like they are insane.
Yeah. Well, the thing is also the other thing about ghouls is that the people who use ghouls also tend to use Gatlings, which is basically a machine gun that shoots ghouls. So they have more firepower.
They aren't hitting him. It does not matter how fast they can shoot them.
The Shane Gang doesn't use Gatlers. They
give them all Gatlings. I don't care, bro. They still don't beat Sanji.
That's the thing. Dr. Black was such a clever engineer and scientist that he designed a machine gun to shoot ghouls. Because as Cord Zane's an engineer himself, and when he first saw it, he's like a Gatler, but no one's ever been able to make a working model. So he was kind of gobsmacked that Dr. Black had been able to make a working model of a Gatling gun, which basically increased the fire. So it doesn't matter if you're inaccurate. If you're having slugs fired at you like second after second, it doesn't matter if they're inaccurate. You got to keep dodging them because there's so many of them.
Oh, Sanji can dodge all right.
Okay,
and
so
even if they hit him, it isn't affecting him.
Goondock's abilities. Okay, so the protoform, it makes people feel ill. So that's before it transforms. So there's Leech Fang, a poison attack that will slow an opponent down for a short period of time. It drains their health and worsens internal ailments. There's Creep Sleep, which
that doesn't affect Sanji.
Creep Sleep, which poison paralysis, which drops opponents into a temporary coma. There's Turn Cloak, which emits a ball of dark light that induces a zombie-like feral state. Slingers will begin to attack allies. Ghoul Goyle, which hits an opposing slug and uses dark energy to transform into a ghoul. And Dark Cloak, that's basically mind control. Because there's a Megamorph Goondock called the Goon, and it's a Goondock created by the Emperor, and the Goon is so powerful that he actually can mind control people, brainwash them. When it attacks, the Goon has an eerie way of getting into a target's Slinger's head. Possess Junja, so it can possess someone basically. It does do that with Eli Shane briefly. It possesses him.
Can you break out of it if you have strong enough will?
Eli was not. Eli tried to break out of it, but he couldn't. The thing also with Junjay, the reason he was mind controlled is the goon had him under his control for 20 years. So at that point, he couldn't.
But if you have, so the fact that was Eli like able to struggle against it, yes, and like he just narrowly.
He did manage to fight back the goon for a few seconds, but then the goon took over control again. So it's like you can fight back against it, but it's very hard. So
Sanji's able to fight back against it then, because his willpower is incredible.
Yeah, well, the thing, when Eli was in his own mind, he was like, "This is my own mind, then I'm in control." And he hit the goon, he got bigger, and the goon said, "You forget, this is my domain." And he sends out this energy that makes Eli shrink back to normal. And he says, what? He said something like, What I demand, your mind obeys. And he turns Eli's slugs in his mind into ghouls, and then Eli gets officially possessed. So his appearance actually changes. So his eyes go red and everything.
Okay.
In fact, when Eli's in his mind, when the goon's forcing Eli to shoot his friends, Eli has a moment of clarity, and he fires away from him. He's like, "No, I don't want to hurt them." He's like, "Why do you continue to resist? You have no hope here." So basically, yeah. But the thing about it also is because the Goondock is possessing Eli, he loses control of Junjay. He can only possess one person at a time. So Junjay, when he's fully controlled Eli, the mind control and ghouling of Junjay lessens, and Junjay starts to go back to normal. So he can only possess one person at a time.
Okay.
Because when he shoots,
hang on. I'm trying to speak. I just want to add
one more thing.
Okay, make it under 30 seconds.
Yeah. All right. So basically, this is shown because as soon as the possessed Junjay shoots the goon at Eli, the goon falls over and collapses as if the goon's no longer controlling him anymore. So he shoots the goon and then he kind of falls over and falls to the ground.
Okay. Is that it?
Yes, that's it.
Okay, so now let's say the entire Shane gang, right? They all have ghoul slugs. They
Megamorph
basically
ghouls.
give Megamorph ghouls.
They've never used Megamorph ghouls, but I guess
they're all in bloodlust mode. They're all in bloodlust, no morals, all that kind of stuff.
You know what would make this better is if they're in the deep caverns where they're forced to use ghouls because of the dark energy cancelling out regular transformation. So in this case, they wouldn't be so conflicted.
It doesn't matter. Okay, is this place a big open space?
Yes, it is a big open space, but I'd rather it be in the deep caverns. So rather than being morally conflicted to ghouls, they actually have no choice in using ghouls because regular slubs won't transform in the deep caverns because there's too much dark energy.
Fine, you can scale them for having morals just enter in there. Sanji, bloodlust morals off.
Okay.
Right? He's going for the kill.
But in the deep caverns, they will have to use ghouls, so that makes it better.
They are starting 100 meters away. Mm-hmm. Who do you think wins? The entire gang and like all whatever, right? Versus this one guy. I sent you a picture of him again, right? Who do you think wins?
There are 4 members of the Shane gang. There's Cord Zane, a very strong cave control. So even when he's not
stronger than Sanji,
he's quite buff. And he can get
not stronger than Sanji.
Really? Cave Troll not stronger than him? I mean, Cord Zane.
I don't think. Okay.
Cord Zane's got a bigger.
I'll tell you Sanji's scaling in a second.
Cord Zane is built. He's got a bigger build than this guy. He's built bigger.
It does not matter. Sanji is not human.
Okay. Trixie's quite. And Trixie's the smartest one. She's very strategic.
I know. Okay.
Yeah.
I will say, if we are going off of a normal Sanji, if we're going off Sanji, he's just fighting. He's his normal self, but he's fighting them.
Yeah.
He will not fight Trixie, right? Because he doesn't fight women.
Okay, good.
However, again, we're going with morals off, bloodlust, all that kind of stuff.
Right.
Right. So it doesn't matter how smart she is. It doesn't bow like he's more important.
He'll probably beat Pronto the easiest because Pronto's probably the weakest member he's probably the weakest member of the Shane gang. He's a good tracker.
They're all easy for Sanji.
Yeah. I mean, Eli's got slug fu, but he could also use a fusion shot. That's one thing he has that Dr. Black doesn't have. He's got fusions where he fires 2 slugs at the same time, and they kind of spin around together, and they create. In the case of Burpee and Jules, because as they spin, they create an electrified fireball. So it's not only a ball of fire, but it's also crackling with electricity. So he fires at Dr. Black after he kills the Unbeatable Master with her own blaster, which of course breaks after he's fired it because it's meant to only be used by her, and it knocks Dr. Black off his feet. He does eventually get up, but it knocks him straight off his feet, and he yells quite loudly. He goes, "Ah!" And he does eventually get back up, and he's like, "No." he's like, let's leave now. Because I think after he gets knocked over, his henchmen aim their guns, and he's like, no, we're done.
That doesn't really matter for this scenario. Doc Black, whatever his name is, he isn't here.
Dr. Black,
okay?
yeah, Dr. Black's not here.